So this is session K10, so make a note of that, ready for filling out your feedback forms at the end. And this session's recorded, so it'll be available after. And if you've got any questions, please ask them in the chat window, and the aim is that I'll ask them to Meredith as we go along. So for this session, Meredith is going to speak to us about how the cloud and IBM Z are stronger together. So over to you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So excited to be here. So thank you for taking the time to join the session. I know it's a little bit later in the day, but wow, what a conference. I hope everybody has enjoyed the depth and the breadth of all of the sessions that have been delivered over the past week and a half. I am absolutely thrilled to be here to participate in the conference, share some insights into today's business imperatives and how IBM Z and cloud deliver more value than public cloud alone. My name is Meredith Stoll. I lead our IBM Z and Linux One ecosystem teams. And so you can see here, we've got everything that you need to do your to fill out the form at the end. And I really want to focus on, stronger together also, but this one first, the UK conference, we've got the charity raffle just as a reminder to make sure that you check that out. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started with that. So what are some of these market forces that are driving growth, that are driving business imperatives today? You may have heard of some of these as you've gone through some of the different sessions and listened to some of the different keynotes. But I just wanted to highlight a few of these. First of all, the pandemic has really driven a big change in how companies think about their infrastructure as digital engagement channels need to be expanded. Executives, they've realized just how critical their systems are to their businesses, and transaction volumes, they have increased across industries like never before. As a result, digital transformation needs to accelerate, and that's just what they're doing. Now, along with this increased reliance on infrastructure is also an increased awareness of cyber threats. As more of our economy moves to digital and the pace of data breaches, they just continue to accelerate. In fact, cybercrime, which includes everything from theft or embezzlement to data hacking and destruction, it's up 600%. IoT cyber attacks alone are expected to double by 2025. And the cost of those data breaches, they're huge. A data breach that involves just 1 to 10 million records can cost a company as much as $50 million. And those costs don't even factor in the impact to a company's reputation or the brand, and that sometimes can actually cost them their business. Now, the third thing that we're seeing out there is an emerging realization by companies that a public cloud only approach and that lift and shift to cloud is not necessarily the ideal business strategy. And in fact, according to a recent paper, infrastructure costs were 2 times plus to run a business at scale exclusively in the public cloud, which is one factor that's really driving decision makers to adopt that hybrid cloud approach, that combination of on-prem and cloud. And IBM Z plays a key role in that, and putting IBM Z in the center of that hybrid cloud truly creates a significant value for our customers. You can also see that that's why that 76% of those global infrastructure decision makers that were surveyed have described that cloud strategy truly as hybrid. Once again, if you have any questions as we go along, please feel free to post them out there in the chat. I also wanted to bring this up. Now, BMC recently did a study, their 2021 study, and there were some really interesting findings from that this year. You can see there 92% of those that were surveyed see the mainframe as a platform for long-term growth and new workloads. So once again, kind of looking at that from a hybrid cloud approach and really putting that on-prem component in there from a Z perspective. 86% of those extra large shops expect those MIPS to grow, and 72% have more than half of their data on the mainframe. And so it's truly about how do you leverage that data? How do you unleash that data? How do you unlock that data to drive value within your organization, to drive value to drive that digital transformation. The other thing that I thought was really interesting from the study was it really came out that there are two paths or two areas, two groupings of mainframe clients and mainframe customers. Those that they called the mainframe champions and those the mainframe laggards. 66 of the respondents are actually in that mainframe champion. And when they're looking at what are the things that they're concerned about, what are the things that they're looking at, it's about improving the app development velocity. It's around DevOps initiatives and around increasing security visibility tools and processes. Now, over the past week and a half, in a lot of the sessions that you've been hearing, there was a lot of talk about DevOps. There was a lot of going into app development, also around security and tools and processes. So clearly, this is a key area of focus for many of the clients and many folks that are on the mainframes. Now, there are those shops that are also really more conservative organizations, as it mentions here, focusing on that day-to-day maintenance and cost control for various reasons, whether it's focusing still down at the cost management or the staffing and skills or the management perception. But no matter where you are within your journey from a digital transformation perspective and from a modernization perspective, from an app modernization, from a data modernization, we can help meet you there no matter where you are within that journey. And the tools are there and available for you. All right, let me just check and see. No questions yet. Once again, if you got any questions, please feel free to post them over into the chat. Make it a little bit more interactive. So IBM Z, we've been investing very heavily in cloud technologies and in the recent years, and our objective really is to be able to fully integrate IBM Z into that hybrid cloud infrastructure. Our roadmap to hybrid cloud has been designed to help you achieve that critical business outcome and that need to innovate with agility to respond to that ever-changing demands that are out there of that digital marketplace that we were talking about. You need to create better experiences for your customers and partners in order to truly foster that loyalty and the ongoing partnership. You need to fuel business growth with new cloud native services and integrate with modernized workloads. And you need to build that competitive advantage through creating trusted relationships built on protection and privacy, two things that this platform is definitely known for and excels at. So you can see here just a small subset of some of the investments that have been made, starting with a very comprehensive portfolio of Linux and open source resources. We've invested in dedicated cloud technologies such as HyperProtect virtual servers. And that's where we've got a lot of startups, for example, out there leveraging those HyperProtect virtual servers and HyperProtect services that are out on the cloud. And we also support multiple cloud packs, IBM cloud packs. But our investments, they're not just limited to the adoption of new cloud software. Our existing z/OS portfolio is also being transformed and cloud enabled. As a result, you can modernize your existing Z workloads where they reside quickly at lower cost and with a lot less risk than migration or refactoring. You can also integrate existing Z workloads with cloud services. You can build cloud natively on Z through containerized environment. And we also have the support of the IBM Cloud Platform with Red Hat, OpenShift, and Ansible. All right, so along with the z/OS Cloud Broker, these offerings not only bring Z to the IBM hybrid cloud, but also help to integrate across z/OS and Linux on Z workloads for better performance, resiliency, as well as security. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about how do we actually achieve this increased value with IBM Z and hybrid cloud. Well, I want to talk to you about something that's new. To help accelerate this transformation, we actually recently launched the IBM Z and Cloud Modernization Center. It's basically a digital front door to help you accelerate your journey and to achieve that over 2.5x value of the public cloud alone with IBM Z and cloud. Modernization and digital transformation, it's not IBM Z or cloud, it really is truly that IBM Z and cloud. And our approach to transformation and modernization, it truly lets you continuously modernize applications and data on IBM Z at a fraction of the cost, fraction of the time, and a fraction of the risk that's associated with a rip and replace migration strategy. So a hybrid cloud strategy that includes Z can actually drive greater than 2.5x and all the way up to 5x. And I'll show you some of those studies. The value of public cloud alone by simplifying access to the data and the business workflows. Three key areas here that you really want to focus on when we're talking about this continuous modernization. The first one is ensuring that we're building the right foundation, right? By optimizing hardware, software costs while streamlining application performance and management. I was recently just on another client call, and they were talking about just how much faster they were able to complete many of their processes and optimize their processes just by ensuring that their infrastructure and their hardware was on the latest and greatest release. So really ensuring that you're fully leveraging that, that you're integrating IBM Z into that hybrid cloud, and also leveraging that cloud native development on the platform. So build once, deploy where it best fits, and unlock that additional 1 to 3% of revenue by increasing access to the mainframe data and applications through an API strategy, or also through real-time connection through our ZDIH. And I'll talk a little bit about that as well. There's also that need to increase business agility, right? So move away from waterfall development to an enterprise DevOps process. Once again, we talked about this a lot through the conference, and a lot of times the biggest challenge in that shift going from waterfall to DevOps isn't necessarily the tooling. The tooling is out there and available for you, but it really is a lot from a cultural perspective as well, in understanding that cultural shift. So we've got some best practices out there and some use cases of what clients have done to truly help with that culture shift, which is many times that the most difficult part of that, of increasing that business agility and implementing DevOps. All right, and then also accelerating time to value. So proven application modernization patterns. We're going to go into those patterns, acceleration tools, best practices, all of it showcases for building and deploying IBM ZOS and Z Linux. In addition, how you can leverage various expertise, whether it's through the IBM Garage to get started quickly or through other workshops that we have available. And so this IBM Z and Cloud Modernization Center, it truly is that single location where you can find these resources and access expertise, both IBM, but also, as you know, I have a big fan of our ecosystem and our partners. So also accessing that broader ecosystem of partners, because modernization, it's not just about what IBM can do, right? It's not just about what you can do within your own shops, but also how can you best leverage third-party tools? How can you best leverage the broad ecosystem of whether it's open source, whether it's commercially available options, and ensuring that we're able to leverage those and interact and interconnect those with Z, or run them on Z, co-locate them from a Linux perspective, but really make the most of that entire ecosystem that we have out there to modernize and unlock the value of your existing investments. All right, so a lot of the content was very siloed. It was spread across all of these different sites. So this center really helps to bring them together. So with that, I'm going to actually go into the center and show you what we've got here. Are there any questions so far? Nothing's coming up on the chat. Is anybody out there? So if you're on the chat, if you're out there, feel free to say hi on the chat as well, so we know you're out there. All right, so let's take a look at this Modernization Center. I'll head on up to the top. So this is the new Modernization Center. You can access it at ibm.biz/z&cloud. You can see here, one of the first things is really highlighting the key message of why IBM Z and hybrid cloud, why IBM Z and cloud, not necessarily or cloud. So here we've got actually a paper right up front on how to maximize value with IBM Z. It goes through some of the key why hybrid cloud, right? How do you maximize that value? And if IBM Z is a part of your cloud, what are some of the key value drivers, right? So if you scroll down here into this, the model in action, and how did we actually look at driving that value, that 2x plus or the 5, you can see that this comes in 4 different areas. Business acceleration, that includes AI, the API enabling Z, developer productivity, adopting agile and DevOps practices, infrastructure cost and efficiency, so AI ops, consolidation of infrastructure, co-location of infrastructure, sustainability. This is a really hot topic right now from a sustainability perspective, and many companies, particularly those that are in Europe, have regulations and mandates from a sustainability perspective. And so looking at what IBM Z can bring to your data center and can bring to your business from a sustainability perspective is definitely a hot topic, because it is we've got a lot of fantastic benefits from a sustainability perspective. Also, regulatory compliance and security is another area. So that's from a reducing breaches, and this is from applying pervasive encryption and data privacy. So these are the different value sources when we look at this, of how do you actually achieve that level of value above and beyond what you could get by just going to public cloud alone. So this is a great paper. One of the things I wanted to talk about also is, how do you take this information, because you may already know this and you may already have all of this in your back pocket, but how can you actually then package this up and let your executives know? How can you become an advocate within your organization from IBM Z, and how IBM Z can truly be connected with and interconnected with the cloud, your cloud strategy from your business perspective. So this is a great paper that you can definitely share within your organization. So that's one area. So once again, coming back over here to the IBM Z and Cloud Modernization Center, we also have a number of client references and client stories, use cases, and additional papers that you can share internally. So for example, here we have the story, a case study from BNP Paribas. We have one from M&T, and then we also have another paper, third-party paper that was done talking about application modernization on the mainframe. It then goes down here to show you a little bit more into what are some of the essential components of the hybrid cloud strategy and why this hybrid cloud strategy. One of the key things I know that comes up quite a bit, seeing as many of you know me from talking about skills and talking about our various skills program, is really, how do you help to close that talent gap? It is truly embracing these common tools and operating models. So that's one thing from a modernization perspective, as you're looking at your tooling, as you're looking at attracting and growing and retaining talent. I can't emphasize enough the importance of adopting the modern tooling that's out there and available today on the platform. Within the Modernization Center, we also have different zones. We have an executive zone, an architect zone, and a developer zone. And this is where content has been curated just for those personas. So if you have an executive, or if you are an executive and you like to go in and look at this more from a business use case perspective versus down to the nitty-gritty of the technology, but truly connect it back over to the business outcomes, the executive zone is the place for you. It has different papers that are available out there. Once again, third-party papers, but then it also goes into the business value. Let me take a look at, let me show you what we talk about here. So for example, the importance or what's important from this IBM Z and Cloud Center is that it's not just talking down at the product or the technology level, but it links all of these individual use cases back up to that higher business value. What is the business outcome? So no matter whether you're technical and you want to go straight down into the technical content, or whether you're an architect and you want to figure out how to actually architect these solutions and understanding of how to architect them, or if you truly are at the business decision, or if you need to go and speak to other decision makers and executives, it links it straight back up to that business value. So for example, increasing business acceleration. We talked a little bit about this, but how do you actually unlock that core business applications and data to drive business acceleration. If we click within here, you'll actually see a case study, right? So you have an example of from a client. So in this case, it's with M&T Bank and how they leveraged real-time information flow to truly drive faster decisions and to integrate their data from their mainframe systems directly with other applications and customer engagement applications real time, so that consumption and decision making could be made in real time versus with a delay. So you can take a look at that case study here. So if you click on that case study, you'll see all of the information, a nice summary of what this use case and what this client did. Also, you can find the different use cases. For example, whether it's implementing AI and analytics, how do you implement AI and analytics? What can you get out of that? Real-time information flow is the one that we were just talking about. So if I click into this real-time information flow, I'll actually see all of the different assets that are available, whether it's a document looking at the different insights in the technology review, or actually getting down into the technical resources available for that particular solution, as well as, once again, the case study. Also, enable and manage APIs is another key component of being able to drive that business acceleration, provide that real-time access to mainframe applications, and enabling those APIs. A lot of organizations have already started this step. This is one of the steps that many organizations have already taken, and they're a little bit further along in this journey. But if you need additional resources, if you need demos, if you want to take a look at what's going on in this particular area, maybe even down to specific products, this is definitely a place that you can go for that. All right. So for each one of these business value areas, business acceleration, optimizing developer productivity, each one of these has very specific case studies, but then also going down into the specific use case, whether it's adopting agile and DevOps practices or automation. Infrastructure cost efficiency, if you want to learn more about tailor fit pricing, if you want to learn more about co-location and the benefits of co-location, if you're interested in what other clients have done in this space. So for example, this one is here from Bradesco. Enabling flexible pricing. So for example, that tailor fit pricing. Also, AI ops is another really great place to start, and you can get more information around AI ops and the impact of that. And as I mentioned already, sustainability and energy efficiency. All right, let's see.
So we have got the question.
I have some, yeah, I see that coming in. Sorry, I'm looking over on my other screen for the questions. Go ahead.
Just didn't want to stop you mid-flow. So we've got a question from Colin. On the surface, shifting data into cloud must increase risk from a security angle. How do you convince management that it's safe?
That it is safe to shift data into the cloud?
Yeah.
Is there a need to shift data into the cloud is my question, or can you actually go ahead and leverage the cloud, leverage your on-prem for your data gravity, and then connect that back into the cloud without necessarily having to move that data? So for example, when we were looking at the previous example of real-time information flow, it's not actually shifting any data in that case. It's actually putting it within a cache. And so you're not actually moving data, you're just leveraging the information from that. So you actually are reducing that risk from a security angle because you are not necessarily moving that data. If I were to say that if there is the need to actually move that data to the cloud, or if there is a need for to have that data up in the cloud, my recommendation would be to use the HyperProtect services that are out there through IBM Cloud, such as through the FS Cloud, that has that higher level of security, because behind the scenes it's actually running on Linux One within that cloud. So one of the things from that perspective is really, how can you keep that data gravity there on your existing Z systems, and then unlock that data, unlock access to that data for other applications to use. And we've also done this in integrating with some of our ISV solutions. And this is what I would call kind of a surround solution, where you have your data, you have your core information there on Z. You may have ISV third-party applications out in the cloud, or you may have them co-located there right next to your IBM Z for speed and ensuring that there's no latency there and minimizing that latency. But then it's actually integrated into the data that's already there within Z, whether it's through, as I mentioned, ZDIH, or whether it's through an API strategy as well. Yep, it is an interesting question. So, and although cloud experts keep telling me that data is safer in the cloud than on-prem, and that's why our recommendation is definitely keep that data gravity within your Z footprint, and then integrate that from a hybrid cloud perspective and unlocking that data. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I think that's good. Thank you.
Okay. And I think that, you know, it was interesting. I'll add to that I was talking with about open banking yesterday, and some of the ISO regulations that are coming in, and the increase in transactions that are being seen as a result of open banking. And the other component from a cloud perspective that a lot of folks aren't really talking about is the actual cost associated with cloud, and the cost of storage specifically within the cloud. And so that's another thing to be thinking about when you're looking at really where is the right place. And that's what's most important here. When you're looking at IBM Z and cloud, it's not the or statement. It's looking at where do these workloads, where does the data, where should these be? What's the best fit, right? Because there very well could be applications that were written on ZOS and could be on your mainframe that are there because that's all that was available 30, 40 years ago, right? And so there definitely are some applications that may need to move and would be better suited within a cloud environment. There are others, you know, that absolutely are not. If it's high transaction, if it's a high security, if there's that need for resiliency, if there's that need for immediate scale, right? If you're looking at it from a cost perspective for large volumes, right? Those are the reasons that you'd really want to keep this on Z. And so it's not an either or, it truly is an and. And I think you're seeing that also more and more as you're looking at other platforms and other areas within the industry where they're being purpose-built, right? And so I think that that's also why hybrid cloud is being embraced more now than ever before, is that realization that you do need to have that infrastructure that's available for and that purpose fit infrastructure for each one of the different applications. However, right, you want to be able to have that develop once, deploy anywhere, and deploy in the right place. And that's where containerization and OpenShift comes in. All right, so you do have that flexibility of being able to deploy those workloads and those applications where they make the most sense. All right. Here's another one from Andy. I guess IBM has a strategy to grow the Z base, and are you able to share any new names? Okay, we'll take a look at that as far as what are we looking at from growing and just overall new clients and new customer bases. We absolutely are growing, and one of the areas that has the highest level of growth that we're really seeing from an interest perspective that's brand new applications coming to the platform really is around digital assets and everything that's happening within the digital asset space. Once again, coming back to purpose built. What is the purpose? What do they need the platform for? What is the infrastructure? What value add could the infrastructure bring to the table? And it really is around security for those assets. that's where they're seeing the most value there from a digital asset, from new applications. The other thing, we have so many exciting, I'm going to come back here to just kind of the main area. We have so many new exciting startups on the platform. We just announced our latest cohort for our HyperProtect Accelerator. And in fact, we have a brand new use case for this one. I don't know if you guys have attended the IBM Z Day. If you haven't, go take a look at some of the recorded sessions. But one of our new startups that's a part of this program is a company called Beat Club. And Beat Club really is bringing together music creators. So individuals who are creating music, how can they get more connected within that industry, connected to more well-known producers, right? Really opening up the aperture to as many music creators, those that are making music in their bedrooms, right? Really ensuring that they're able to get their music out there. And it was started by Timbaland, and there's a star-studded cast of participants in Beat Club. But the reason they selected, you're probably going, well, why would you need a music creator? Why would you need this music creation app and Z? What is that? How do those two things come together? Well, it's because of the protection of IP. Those music creators want to protect their IP. And so that's why they'll be leveraging the HyperProtect services that are available out there on IBM Cloud to ensure that level of security, that heightened level of security that's available to protect that IP. So it's not just talking about sensitive data that we're all used to hearing about, whether it's personal data, your credit card, your accounts, your social security, so on and so forth. This really is all about IP. So that's yet another new use case to be going after, and kind of that where we're seeing growth and uptake in the platform versus just the traditional. All right. So let me go into a little bit more of these. We also have improved risk and compliance management. So if you're working with your decision makers, and your decision makers from your business outcome perspective, thanks, Paul, for sharing those IBM Z Day recordings. This is where you'd want to go and talk about how IBM Z and how the platform can truly help improve that risk and that compliance management. All right, once again, comes down to the different use cases, whether it's protect data and privacy or reducing of the data breaches. All right, so once again, I wanted to really highlight the business value level, because if you're talking with the decision makers, if you're talking with cross management, if you're talking across your lines of business, and these are goals that they're looking to achieve. They need to achieve business acceleration. They need to optimize developer productivity. They need to increase cost efficiency. They need to improve risk compliance, right? Then go in here, and this is where you can look at the different use cases and how Z plays within those different areas. All right. Now, I know I've been hopping around quite a bit within this site. So right now, what I want to do is just kind of give you a little navigation of what the site is and what's available, and how to navigate through it. As you saw, we were going into different business value drivers. So if you come up here to the Get Started, and once again, this site is available at ibm.biz/Z and cloud. So you're welcome to kind of browse it while we're talking. Business value drivers are here. So if you want to go straight to those business value drivers, you can click here. If you want to go straight to some of the use cases that I talked about, these are all of the various use cases that we have. And we'll be adding this. Please note, this is our first iteration, right? We'll continue to improve this site. We would love to hear from you on what it is that you need to help you within your organization, whether it's helping you from a technical perspective or helping from spreading the word broader within your organization. So if you want to go straight to the use cases, you can go there. Or if you want to go straight to the different zones by persona, as we call them. So if you're an architect or a developer, you can go straight there. In fact, let's go take a look at the developer zone. Since I know many folks that attend this conference are a little bit more technical, so we might want to get down into some technical content. So within this developer zone, once again, we have some spotlight resources that are available. These will be changing and updated as they need to be. So whether you're interested, once again, in a use case, Whether you want to go and look at documentation, we've got the red books there. If you want to see an actual demo, this is a fantastic demo, this IBM Z and hybrid cloud demo. So I highly recommend that you take some time to take a look at that and really see how that end-to-end demo of hybrid cloud and how IBM Z integrates into that. But the other thing is that we've been talking about are these application modernization patterns, or these patterns, these accelerators. How can we help you from a technical perspective? If you click in here, this will actually take you over to an architecture center. And what we've done here is combine and pull together patterns, whether it's from a technical perspective, it's got solution overviews, what the advantage is, what's next, basically what do you need in order to actually go and implement this and help you to get started with these application modernization patterns. So these are focused on application modernization. When I've been talking about modernization, I look at modernization, not just application modernization, but also data modernization, ensuring that your infrastructure is modernized and that you're on the latest and greatest. So this here is really focused in specifically for application modernization, which is why we have this within that developer zone. All right. And in fact, when we look at this, these patterns are broken out into different areas, whether it's application centric that you're looking to do. So do you want to expose APIs? Do you want to co-locate applications? Do you want to refactor? Data-centric integration, what are the different patterns associated with from a data-centric perspective, gain data-driven business value, share system of record data, either through direct access, replication caching, data virtualization. So all of that's within that. We have event-driven patterns. So everything that you need, all of these different patterns to support events, and then also lifecycle enablers. So these are, more process-centric. Let's go take a look at one of these. You can see here, these are the different, these are broken down into those categories that I just talked about. Once again, here's the description of what that pattern is, and then you can actually go into the details here under Learn More. All right. So let's take a look at co-locate applications. So this is where I was talking about that each pattern, it's going to have that solution overview. Okay. There's a lot of information in these. It's going to talk about what are the different advantages. So here's the solution in the pattern overview. All right. I'm just going to slow down here so you can actually see what it looks like as I scroll through here. How do you migrate cloud applications for efficiency? How do you do incremental modernization without risk, right? It'll go through what are the advantages of doing this. So what are the advantages of the cloud native application? Once again, kind of talking to, if you're talking with your business, with your management team and why to do this and what you can help to drive, what outcomes can be driven through this. What are the platform advantages from a Z perspective? So why choose Z to do this? Different considerations. Right, so there is a lot of really great information in here and resources. And once again, each one of these patterns has all of this detailed information. All the way down into then what's next. Okay, so once again, all of these different patterns that are listed here, which are just this link here, goes down into each one of those details. And once again, you can actually get there from the developer zone, and I'll show you how to go straight there if you wanted to. The other great thing that we've got, in my opinion, is the ability to earn badges. So we've got new learning journeys that are out there. In fact, we just put this one out here recently, the learning journey for application developers. We are also have just completed a learning journey for architects that will be coming out here as well. But let's take a look at that. This is where you actually can go and get specific training and earn digital badging. And all of this training is self-paced training. It has videos, but as you go through here, it also has hands-on labs as well. All right, so if you've got existing developers within your organization that you're looking to introduce them to what are some capabilities from a modernization perspective, if you've got new developers coming in, if you've got developers that are shifting over from other organizations, and you want them to understand how do you implement, what does modernization with Z look like, and with Z applications, what are some places to start? Have them take a look at this training and this course, and they can go through step by step, and once again, earn a badge. All right. So a lot of really fantastic resources that are out here. And as I mentioned, more demos and things like that. But let's say that so that's if we were going up here from the getting started menu, right? If you wanted to delve right into that developer zone. But let's say, for example, you knew that, hey, I just want to see all the demos that are out there because that's what I'm interested in. Here we have the capability of browsing these resources. Okay, so you can actually come in here, take a look. Maybe I want to see, you can actually just come down here and just select all demos, right? And that would filter it on the demos. Or perhaps you're just interested in getting more info. I heard about this thing called tailor fit pricing while I was here at this conference. What is that all about? You can do a search there and see what's available for tailor fit pricing. So one of the key things is when a lot of times when I go to conferences, I learn so much and there's so much that's coming out of it. But then when I get back to my desk, I'm like, how do I go find more information on that? How do I continue my learning? How do I go back and look at, go a little bit deeper? Or how do I link that back into other concepts that are going on? That's why I wanted to really go through this IBM Z and Cloud Modernization Center, to give you the opportunity to take all of this great stuff that you've learned, but have a place that you can go and reference once you get back to your office. And then just one final thing I'll show you here, the architect zone, because the architect is also a key role, right, in determining where are the workloads going to go, what are we going to do, how are we going to integrate, how are we going to drive hybrid cloud. So to me, this architect zone is very, very important. And there's a couple of resources out here that I want to call your attention to. One is this IBM Z integration guide for hybrid cloud. This is a red paper that really goes through step by step. It talks about all of the different why hybrid cloud, what the benefits are from an architecture perspective. It talks about what are the different types of integration options that are available, how do they relate to one another, and then also how does that then link back to KICS, IMS, DB2, right? And how do you integrate some of those subsystems within from a hybrid cloud perspective? Goes down into individual products. It also goes into some very specific use cases, why the clients chose to go that route, and then what did they achieve from going down that route. So this is a fantastic document for IT architects who are looking at incorporating IBM Z as a part of that hybrid cloud strategy. All right, same thing, once again, there's that demo that I mentioned before. So highly recommend that. And then also coming in the next couple of weeks, or hopefully within this week, we also have that new course, self-paced course for IT architects and modernization. All right. If you want to take a look, once again, the executive zone, we have this as well. One of the key things that this executive zone does is it links over into the IBM expertise. So this is another place I want to highlight. So if you are looking for services, consulting, we've got information there on IBM Consulting and what they offer, but we also have our IBM Garage expertise. So if your organization is interested in learning more about any of these topics, and maybe they want to have a workshop, an on-site workshop or a virtual workshop on any of these topics, whether it's security, data and AI, modernization, resiliency, this is where you can actually request a workshop. There are different types of workshops that are available, everything from consulting down to MVP workshops, design workshops, and these are all no charge workshops. All right, so make sure that you leverage those. And then we also go into some more spotlight resources. Okay, let me see if anything else has come in. Okay. Any other questions as we go through this? Sorry, I keep on looking over here because that's where that screen is. Okay. So that's what we have for the IBM Z and Cloud Modernization Center. Very excited about that. A lot of capabilities that are out there, but we want to hear from you if there's more that you need, or if this really isn't at all what you need, and you need something else. Please let us know. Once again, we'll be constantly improving this. This is our first shot at this, so we want to make sure that it's delivering. It's out there for you, built specifically for you and to help you. So we want to make sure that we're hitting the mark there. All right, so that's IBM Z and Cloud Modernization Center. The other thing, because I just can't resist, I always have to talk to you guys about skills. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a new program that's out there. And I know that there have been actually specific sessions on this that were covered over the past week and a half. But we have released a brand new learning experience called IBM Z Explore. Always on, everyone is welcome. It has 3 components to it. There's a IBM Hour of Z. This is a gaming app that is now available out on the App Store. That if anybody who doesn't really know what enterprise computing is about, this is a fantastic and fun way to get started. It takes them on a journey through the app behind, or the systems behind the app. So they actually start with they start on a phone and make a mobile purchase, and then they go through into that mobile purchase and see all of the systems behind the scenes of what makes that possible, all happening in 1 second. So really is a fun way to learn a little bit about computing concepts, and they even get a deep dive and a tour of the IBM Z machine and how it works, and then how that layers on from an application perspective, truly introducing them not only to enterprise computing, but also the role of Z within enterprise computing. The learning platform. This is our IBM Z Explore learning platform. It has different coding challenges, different levels. Once again, starting at the foundational level, very similar to the challenges that were offered through our Master the Mainframe program. And you get to learn all of the basics, but then you get to go on to even more advanced challenges. So we have getting started challenges to fundamentals to concepts. And then we also do continue to have our student contest. In fact, it's running right now. It's hosted by Hacker Earth to help reach even more students that are out there. We are closing in close to the 25,000 registered students for that contest right now. But they leverage this IBM Z Explore learning platform behind the scenes to help them with that contest. So very excited to have that out there. And as Paul mentioned, if you want to know more about IBM Z Explore, the session was 8AD. All right. So those are the main things I wanted to cover today with you, is to really talk to you a little bit about this IBM Z and Cloud, why IBM Z and Cloud, the importance of incorporating IBM Z into your hybrid cloud strategy. How do you have those conversations, and what are some of the resources that are available to you to have those conversations with management across your organization, but also what is the training that's available out there to really get everybody up to speed on the different areas from a modernization perspective, whether it's data modernization, whether it's application modernization, once again, whether it's actually getting your infrastructure up to the level, whether it's up getting even just the applications, right? Or even the languages up to the latest level, and being able to have the benefits and gain the benefits from getting it up to that latest level. And I will also add a couple of things from an ISV perspective. So I'm going to stop sharing here. So from an IBM, from a ecosystem perspective, I know that this is a big interest for many people is what are we doing around building out that ecosystem? What are we doing around building out our ISV ecosystem and modernizing our existing ecosystem? We continue down that path. We have made significant progress. In fact, I think it was today or yesterday, we just announced the .NET 6 support for on Z. So we constantly are having new announcements and new ISVs coming to the platform. We have a very large pool of open source ISVs that are out there and available, and tooling and packaging. GitLab, more and more are coming. We're working on focusing on security applications as well. We've got some additional new middleware coming out. But then also from a industry specific application perspective, we've got Finacle that's out there and available, Temenos. Once again, also working very closely with Hogan and Systematics to really look at how can they leverage some of these modernization techniques to help you to modernize your core banking applications. So how can you leverage, once again, for example, ZDIH to drive that real-time information flow to help you to deliver customer engagement where it's needed? Because as I mentioned, I was talking with some of our banking clients and some of our banking ISVs yesterday, and talking about open banking and talking about ISO, and one of the things is that with the capabilities of what I call these surround ISVs, many organizations, many banks are looking at their existing applications and wondering, well, do I have to completely move and redo this entire application to be able to be compliant, to be able to get all of those benefits in order from an open banking perspective, and to really catch up with where the fintechs are today? And the answer is no. You can actually do that today with a lot of the packages, the ISV packages that are already out there and available. Once again, whether they're directly integrating with Z or with your ZOS estate, or whether it is co-locating those. But we have all types of different capabilities that are available to enable you to implement these packages right alongside your existing ZOS estate, to ensure that not only are you meeting regulatory requirements, not only are you able to play within and provide that customer engagement where your customers are, because that's what's most important, right? That's one of the key things that a lot of the fintechs are doing, is they're going to where the customers already are, right? Whether it's embedded within an existing application that they're using, right? Or whether it's in a different application. And you can do that today through APIs, through real-time information flow, through modernizing and integrating in with some of these other third-party packages that truly allows you to leverage the existing data, the existing investments that you have in IBM Z, but extend those and extend the capabilities to be where you need to be with the client, where they are. But back to the question that came up earlier, with the level of security, the level of reliability, the level of scalability that we all know and love that comes with the IBM Z platform. All right, so definitely take a look out there at some of the ISV packages. If you've got any questions around that, please let us know. More than happy to help you with that and get a better understanding of the landscape. If you have ISV packages or third-party packages that you are looking to have on the platform so that it can either be co-located, or you can, a lot of them are also leveraging the container extensions, let us know. All right, we want to hear from you. Don't just automatically say, hey, it's not on the platform, we can't do this. Let us know. We have had such fantastic success this past year, about a year and a half, of working very closely with our clients, and then working with those ISVs together to bring even more to the platform. So when we go together as a community, when we go together as both IBM, you the client, and work with the ISV to ensure that they understand the capabilities that are available, we've had a lot of success of them bringing them onto the platform. And what's amazing, excuse me, what's amazing is when they go through and they do the porting, they're like, oh, this is going to take a long time. We're not going to be able to do this. We're going to need X number of months and so on and so forth. And we don't want to necessarily do this. And the next thing you know, we're there helping them with the build, and they start doing, they're like, oh, wait, that's a lot easier than I thought it was. So we've had a lot of really great success with that. All right. So once again, thank you so much for joining the session. If there are any follow-on questions or anything, please let us know. Make sure that let me bring back up I have to share my screen to make sure that I do the my required. All right. Please submit your session feedback. And Sophie, I don't know if there's anything you need to add here.
Yeah, just remind us to do session feedback. Colin, you've got your hand up. Are you asking to unmute? I'm just going to give you the option to unmute in case you've got a question.
Oh, hi, it's Colin here.
Hey, Colin.
Meredith, thanks for that session. It's really good. Just a quick query. I mean, you mentioned the Z Explore and the Z Day. Would that be really good for people sort of new to mainframe and really new to what it is that we do on mainframe, or is it more around the hybrid thing, more about the whole hybrid and yeah, cloud angle?
Yeah, no. It's all about, definitely, Colin, it's absolutely, if there's anybody that's new to the platform or wants to learn about the platform, or just wants to see what in the world it's all about, I highly recommend the IBM Z Explorer. That's going to help them to get started, give them a kind of a taste for it. And that's where, yes, do we know that we've got tooling that's out there that is common tooling? We absolutely do, but we all know that there's also some level of knowledge, right, that is very specific to the platform that they still need to learn, whether it's COBOL, whether it's JCL, right, whether it's Rex, or just kind of getting a better understanding of maybe even assembler, right? And so the IBM Z Explorer, while it leverages VS Code, it leverages some of the great new modern tooling, it teaches those fundamental concepts for the platform in a really fun way, right? So, and it's also hands-on. So they're getting hands-on, they're getting into ZOS and really going through that. Same thing with IBM Z Day. IBM Z Day is for a broad range of individuals because it's got everything from beginner topics to intermediate and advanced topiks. So I recommend IBM Z Day for anyone within the IBM Z community. We've got something for everyone there, even the decision makers as well. So
okay, thanks very much.
Okay, and also just remember, there's a ton of no charge content that's available out there. So training content. So while IBM Z Explorer is a great way to get started, we also have the ZOS practitioner badge. We've got KICS, we've got IMS, we've got COBOL training. There is a ton of no charge self-paced training that is available for individuals to get started. So you can either find it on Coursera, you can even find it on Pluralsight, but also on IBM training.
Great, thank you. I've just downloaded the Hour of Z app while you were talking as well. So I'll have a
cool.
tonight.
Let me know how it goes.
I will. Okay, great. I think in that case, we're done then. We're at the top of the hour. So thank you, everyone. Please do give feedback as well. So that was session K10. And the next session will be 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So everyone back bright and early. And that'll be our final day tomorrow as well. So not long left.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.